What I really love about this phenom by the name of Shohei Ohtani is he's now led folks to come to the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum wanting to learn about the great two-way stars of the Negro Leagues.
Look, it's 6 o'clock, I'm hopping out of the bed. Rain falling, calling X, but my phone line's there.
Perhaps the greatest two-way player of them all was the legendary Wilber Bullet Rogan.
Don't nobody want to dance slow when you rain.
Who was a star for the great Kansas City Monarchs in the Negro Leagues. Now, Bullet Rogan, at first glance, didn't look like a great athlete. Shohei Ohtani is an imposing figure. He is a big young man. But Bullet Rogan was on the opposite end of the spectrum. Stood about 5'7", weighed about 180 pounds. Satchel Paige would call him chunky. But Bullet Rogan was a tremendous athlete. When Bullet Rogan wasn't pitching, he played the outfield and hit cleanup for the Kansas City Monarchs. Bullet Rogan could rake. Leroy Satchel Paige, who said that Bullet Rogan was the onlyest baseball player that he ever saw, that he ever heard of, that pitched and hit cleanup in the batting order. That was Bullet Rogan.
Now it's the second baseman, Taylor. Fastball in for a strike, and we are underway. Next offering is in for a strike. Got him swinging. One down. And now the switch hitting catcher, Jones. And there's a strike. Good heater at 98. One out, bases empty. That one is absolutely belted. Bell going back. Has room, and he makes the catch. Glass now at the plate. Out in front with the swing, and that is strike one.
0-1.
100 at the knees, and she came up empty.
No balls, 2 strikes.
That one out to right. Bell. And puts the squeeze on that one. And that is that. New inning getting started. Here's the shortstop at the plate. Murray. Rogan back to work.
That missed. That's a ball.
Swing and a ball lifted in the air. Shallow right field. Bell racing over to make the catch. Hughes getting ready to hit. Rogan. He gets a lot of swing and miss, and he keeps the ball in the yard. Not to mention the fact, not too many hits either. Swing and a ground ball, base hit right field. Slings to first, and 2 away now. 2 down, base is empty. Now it's the right fielder, Smith. Even some of the best guys in the sport are going to give up home runs from time to time, and he's an exception.
Yeah, and even with those home runs, if you're throwing strikes and keeping base runners off.
Here's Bullet Rogan for the first time in this one, and a chance to do some damage. Line drive, that's a base hit. Hughes rounds third, headed for the plate. Throw is offline, and he scores. On the board first, it's 1-0.
What a talent Bullet Rogan was. Not only was he an ace on the mound, but in 17 years of Negro League play, he batted .335 and slugged over .500. And unlike Babe Ruth, he pitched almost the whole time with a career ERA of just 2.68.
2 away now. If you're going to bring up Bullet Rogan's career stats, Singy, we've got to highlight what he did against white major leaguers. Only 3 recorded games, but he went 4 for 11 at the plate, and he gave up just 4 runs in 2 complete games on the mound. Center field, Hamilton settles underneath it, drops into the glove, and that'll do it. Walker back to work. Swing and a drive, and no doubt about it, Bullet Rogan blasts that one out of here.
Bullet Rogan was one of the winningest pitchers in Negro League's history. He now holds the distinction of having the 4th highest winning percentage in Major League Baseball history. And of course, he earned his nickname Bullet because he got that thing up to the plate in a hurry. What's even more remarkable is he threw from a no wind-up delivery, and yet his nickname was Bullet. He had the heavy fastball. He had a great curveball, a palm ball. I guess you could say he threw everything at hitters, including the kitchen sink. And while his control was not as impeccable as, let's say, a Satchel Paige, Bullet Rogan had the uncanny ability to work himself into jams, but the great stuff and the supreme confidence to get himself out of jams.
Big spot here for Bullet Rogan and the Monarchs in a serious jam in the 9th. Now, Murray. And that's through there for a strike. 0-1.
0-1.
And fouled off. Got him. Rogan with the heater for the K. And next will be the cleanup hitter, Glass. Swing and a foul out of play. The winning run on second base.
No ball. 2 strikes.
Got him swinging for the strikeout. And they're down to their last out. Here's the third baseman, Hayes. That one finds the zone. That's strike 1. Swing and a miss, and that's strike 2.
0-2.
1 strike away. Got him, and that's the ball game.
In the inaugural Negro League World Series held in 1924, Bullet Rogan won 2 of those games and was one of the hitting stars in that series, helping the Monarchs capture Kansas City's first ever professional sports team championship in 1924. Frank Duncan, who had been a great catcher and would eventually manage the great Kansas City Monarchs, when asked about who he would choose between Satchel Paige and Bullet Rogan, Duncan's response was Rogan, because he knew that Satchel had all the stuff to get you out, but Bullet Rogan's versatility perhaps made him even more valuable than the legendary Leroy Satchel Paige.
Bullet Rogan up now with a chance to break it open early for Kansas City. Line drive, and that's a base hit into center field. One run's in. The second run scores. It's 2-0. Between 1924 and 1925, Bullet Rogan was as good as you can imagine a player possibly being. He won 36 games against just 8 losses, batted .380, tossed 41 complete games out of 50 starts. One down, base is empty. And another ball.
When Bullet got inducted into the Hall of Fame, his son said he didn't know if his dad had thrown as hard as Satchel Paige, but when Satch was on the mound, he needed a designated hitter. When my dad was on the mound, he was in the cleanup spot.
That misses the zone. 3-1 now. One person could tell you how hard Rogan threw. Monarchs catcher Frank Duncan. He'd buy 2 steaks before catching Rogan and slip one into his catcher's mitt for protection. After 5 innings, the first steak would be shredded and he'd switch to another one.
To give you an indication of Bullet Rogan's supreme confidence, playing down in Cuba, and his catcher was Hall of Famer Raleigh Biz Mackey. And they're facing a team that featured the great Alejandro Ohms, a notorious curveball hitter. And so Mackey is laying down the signs for Rogan, and Rogan's shaking him off because Rogan wants to throw his curveball. And Mackey's like, no, don't throw him a curveball. And Rogan's like, I got this. He can't hit my curveball. And what does he do? He drops 3 hooks and struck Ohms out. Bullet Rogan was a transcending kind of player.
Bullet Rogan just 1 out from getting the win for Kansas City. Martinez, the next to hit. Drops in the curve for strike 1. Finds the zone with another curveball, and that's strike 2. Good eye right there. Rogan is just 1 strike away. Got him, and that's the ball game. Monarchs looking to add on to their lead as Bullet Rogan digs in with 1 out and a runner at third. Fires over to first, and Rogan is set down for the out.
Not a lot of players can claim the championship success that Bullet Rogan had. Not only did he win a Negro League World Series with Kansas City, but he won a title for Almendares in the Cuban Winter League and multiple championships in the California Winter League.
You mentioned Bullet's success in the California Winter League, Singy. He went 42-14 in his career there and had a record 52 complete games, including 1 win where he shut down Hall of Famers Jimmy Fox and Al Simmons. Hammers that one deep left field and forget it.
Wilber Rogan would join the Kansas City Monarchs after playing for one of the greatest military baseball teams of all time, the legendary 25th Infantry Wreckers. The thing that I find so fascinating is that these African-American ball players who served valiantly, they were fighting for a country that essentially wasn't fighting for them. And yet if you were to ask them why they wanted to fight, and why they wanted to serve, well, the answer will be simple. Because we were American. And there's no greater way to prove how American you are than service to your country. Bullet Rogan was nearly 31 years old when he joined the Negro Leagues. By baseball standards, he's old, and yet Rogan was still tremendously impactful. He would become one of the first superstars of the newly formed Negro National League. In Kansas City, Bullet Rogan lay at rest in a cemetery in what I guess you could describe as a rather nondescript grave site. And a few years ago, we were able to work with the cemetery, who did not allow upright headstones, to install a monument that was befitting a player the magnitude of Wilber Bullet Rogan, who in 1998 finally crossed over that threshold into baseball's immortality when he was inducted into the National Baseball Hall of Fame.
And now the right fielder, Bullet Rogan. On the ground to the left, Sutter zips it across, and Rogan is set down for the out.
One zero.
Fly ball down the line. He's got it, and that'll end the inning. Headed down the line, and that will drop foul. In the air, foul off first. Reaches over the wall, and he's got it. Swing and a miss. There's the slider. 0-1.
0-1.
Drilled in the air, high and deep right field. Bradley going back on this one. Onto the track, and he makes the catch. Now at the plate, Bullet Rogan. Swing and a pop-up. Foul at a play off to the right side. That'll find the stands. Just off the inside edge. Swing and a drive, and no doubt about it, Bullet Rogan blasts that one out of here.